the IC and transit.
The Independence Center works with people with disabilities, their families, and the community to create independence so that all may thrive. We do have a community organizing or advocacy program with 2 community organizers.
I'm the community organizing manager, and so transportation and housing seem to be the issues that made the most sense for us to focus on, because without those 2 core pieces, it's not attached to a core system that allows you stability.
That's really what a community organizer does. It gives people the tool to speak up and, together to identify who can make those changes and make the changes.
The 3 levels of transit.
So when we think about public transportation, it sort of encompasses 3 different levels. The first level that everybody thinks of is fixed route buses. For people that aren't able to use the fixed route system, you go through a separate process of getting ADA certified to receive Mountain Metro Transit, which is the paratransit system. Paratransit, though, they do curb to curb. And so they will come to your door and drop you off at the door of your location.
I drove the first month after I lost my sight. I was alone. My husband was in training in the Army, so I didn't have him to be able to drive me anywhere. And then I finally was like, okay, I'm ready to, I have to be independent. Get on a Metro Mobility and be able to have the bus come and pick you up and take you places. And it was getting your independence back.
And then you get to a certain point where you might need even more support. And that's when human service providers come in. They'll actually have the driver walk you into your home and help you carry grocery bags. But we can kind of see a very direct correlation between where fixed route services kind of end, where the service stops, and then where the human service providers spend a huge percentage of their energy and resources filling in gaps to those completely unserved areas. So if the fixed route system gets better and is expanded more widely, then everybody benefits from that.
Well, had I not had access to public transit when I was forced to stop driving and was a single parent, I would have been unable to continue my employment. So chances are I would have been on, Social Security income or something. I don't know what I would have done.
The need for 15-minute routes.
If I could change one thing about our transit system, I would change these 1-hour wait times to 15 minutes.
When I do go volunteer and coach at the Colorado Springs School of the Deaf and Blind, is a very difficult process if you don't know what you're doing. It does take up majority of your day just to make one appointment.
I've learned that if I'm going somewhere for a single appointment, that it takes me half a day.
I go to school full-time at University of Colorado Springs, and it takes me 2 buses to get there, and they're both hour buses, so if one bus is late, the other one is already gone.
So one of the things we've done is tried to target a few of our areas within the core of our city to try out some 15-minute routes. I think one of our busiest routes is from the downtown transit terminal to the Citadel. And that's now has 15-minute service, and the ridership has actually increased almost 34%. And so far, it's proven to be very successful. And I know our transit department hopes to continue that very same process.
So until we get frequency up to the point that people choose to use the bus, I think we continue perpetuating the idea that the bus is just for those people versus the bus being for everybody.
The demand for transit.
It's not just people with disabilities that are clamoring to get on the bus. It is young people who don't want to drive. It is the environmentalists, people who are concerned about the environment, who don't want to drive. As we get more housing downtown, those folks are going to be coming on board to say, let me just take the bus down to the store.
I think transit offers everybody a choice. Students have a choice of what high school they want to attend now, and it can really make a difference in their life, but they don't have that choice if they don't have viable transportation to access that. So it impacts everybody in our community of all ages.
The 1 hour is really difficult, particularly for choice riders, people who don't have to ride the bus, because most of them have options. If I have 2 or 3 meetings during the day and need to get from one to the other, an hour just isn't practical. And it really takes the choice riders added to the system to provide the financial value that helps us to expand our service.
How you can help transit.
In the springs, because we're so sprawled out, it's so expensive to provide a really good service. And so we're not quite willing to pay for really good service until it gets to the point that it's convenient for everybody to use. But getting to the point where it's convenient for everybody to use requires funding. And so we're in this catch-22. It takes public investment at the onset to really make a public service like that work well. And then once it starts working well, it sort of explodes from there.
So in both Salt Lake City and Portland, what I saw when I was there was these wonderful transportation systems, but they don't happen overnight. It took, in both cases, it took over 20 years for those systems to be developed. I have a great story about an interaction that a lady I was with who was quadriplegic and in a wheelchair. After a transit advocacy meeting that we had both attended, we were walking out, and some woman from the audience came up and pointed her finger at this young woman and said, "How dare you expect me to pay for your transportation and your bus service?" And I'll never forget it. Without missing a beat, this young lady looked up at her and said, "Well, last time I checked, I'm paying taxes for your roads that you're driving on." And I thought it was a wonderful comeback. You know, too often people think, well, I'm not going to ride the bus, so why should I pay for it? But the truth is, that's how we get these good systems in place. We all pool our funds together. It helps us to create even better systems. It's not whether I use it necessarily. I don't have children. I don't have kids in schools. But I understand the value of a good education system in our community. And it's the same with transit.
We support our public libraries for the general public. And we support our public schools. All of us support the public highways, the public parks, and public transportation should just be considered an integral part of that whole infrastructure in the community.
For more information, contact the Independence Center at 719-471-8181 or at www.theindependencecenter.org.